The Crosstrek has always been the rough, rugged version of the Impreza hatch, and for 2024, Subaru has updated the Crosstrek in a lot of ways. Welcome everybody to the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness in the wilderness. For the keen viewers, you would have noticed that I have reviewed a Crosstrek, and that was the older one. I think it was in 2022. For 2024, it has received a massive update. As you can see, it's now more in tune with the new Impreza look. So you've got new headlights, cool looking DRLs, a different bumper design, and since this is the Wilderness, which is an all new trim for 2024, the bumper is also revised for a better approach angle as well. You have way more cladding, lots of matte black elements, and you do have the matte black stickering job on the bonnet, which I think it looks really good and contrasts really well with this paint shade, which is the signature Subaru blue, which again I'm a big fan of. It just looks very good, very aggressive. It's got all the basic elements like a very powerful LED fog light, and the headlights in tune work really well. Overall, the design is very typical Subaru family, and that's never been a problem. It's always been simplistic yet very aggressive, and it stands out on the road. When you come to the side is when you notice that this is essentially the Impreza hatch, and you can see the cladding is so beautifully integrated from the bumper onto the wheel arches, onto the door, side skirting with a very big Crosstrek branding on the side of the cladding, and overall it's very aggressive, very thick. Shows that this vehicle is meant for taking the rough stuff like we are here, and we are truly enjoying this vehicle in the open nature. This vehicle is truly meant for it. I can see I'm not going to get any stone chips or anything because the cladding is so protective. You do have a big Subaru Wilderness badge. So the Wilderness is a new addition for 2024. Previous Crosstreks never had it. So this means that the cladding is there. You've also got a lift kit. So the suspension is higher. As you can see, the stance is quite high. So it's pretty cool. It's a small, tall car, perfect for conditions like these. And you also have functional roof rails, so you can actually hitch a tent on top. And since this is the Wilderness, like we noticed in the Outback Wilderness, it has some elements of bronze around. So the Crosstrek branding is bronze. You have some bronze in the bumper where the tow hooks are, and you do have bronze on the roof rails. Again, just small elements here and there break the monotony, and it just looks so good. When you come to the rear of the Crosstrek, you can see it's got the traditional Impreza taillights, the claw taillights, which is now becoming quickly a trend. Honda started with the Accord and they've moved on, but now every other brand is catching on to it. It looks pretty cool, and the blacked out elements again just complement the looks. You do have a lot of cladding like the Outback Wilderness as well. Again, the bumper has been redesigned compared to regular Crosstreks for a better departure angle as well, and you do have the copper gold bronze accents for the tow hooks. You do have a mild spoiler as well, and yeah, you can see that it's very raised from the back to make sure that you do not get stuck on any obstacle. You do have a rear wiper as well, some badging which is in gunmetal color. You do have the same Wilderness badge on the boot as well, so you know that this is just not any regular Crosstrek. This is the top of the line, fully decked out, off-road ready. What can I say? It's a very cute small footprint which I really like, and the whole stance is just perfect with this Wilderness trim. The lift kit really looks good. Even these 17-inch matte black wheels just complement the whole theme so perfectly. I mean, I really like the previous Crosstrek as well, and this one is no different. The updates just make it look so much fresher and cool on the roads today. Now inside the 2024 Crosstrek, and you can see the interior has been updated, more in tune with the other Subarus in the market. The previous Crosstrek had a bit of an outdated interior with a very small screen. This is the famous screen that is available in every other Subaru, so I now understand how it works fully. It's got wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, a host of settings, physical buttons for the temperature, volume and tune. You do have a wireless charger, heated seats, and you do have a nice conventional gear lever. Honestly, this is such an underrated thing. In cars these days that I drive, they're like knobs and stalks and stuff like that. Sometimes a good old gear lever is just perfect. You do have some gloss black, which is going to be very difficult to maintain, I can already tell you that. You do have some matte black elements, and you do have the same copper/bronze elements on the exterior as well, because I think this is exclusive to the Wilderness trims that Subaru provides. You have the same chunky 3-spoke steering, you do have paddles, you do have the buttons for the adaptive cruise or eyesight as Subaru calls it, volume buttons, and then you do have drive mode as well. So you do have intelligent or sport. You do have analog dials, which again look very good. You do have a small screen in between for the trip and everything, which you can toggle through. It's a perfect blend of analog and digital. You don't need more digitalization than that in your Speedo console, honestly. Cup holders, you do have small storage here, which I really liked. It's very useful for me to keep my keys. You do have a small storage in here. What can I say? It's just typical Subaru, very functional. You do have a carbon fiber weave around the plastics as well, which again looks very good, carries on to the doors and then carries on to the center console as well. It just feels nice and you know that it's going to work. It's not the most glamorous interior in its segment. Other brands definitely have way more appeal, but this just works. And sometimes function over form is the way forward, and Subaru has been carrying forward that since many years, and this is no different. The seats are very nice. You have electric controls, no memory seats, but the back support, the lumbar support, under thigh support is really good. The cushioning is just perfect. You can just munch miles on this vehicle or munch miles in the forest, off-road, in the wilderness, like what we've been doing. What can I say? I've been really enjoying sitting on the driving seat and just driving around this vehicle because the whole interior ambience just works. Now in the rear seat of the Crosstrek, as you can see, space is really not an issue. The driving seat is for my driving height and I have a lot of knee room, a lot of place to tuck in my feet. Headroom is also good for me. I believe 6-footers might brush their hair on the roof, which is not ideal. But yeah, overall for me, it's fine. Under thigh support is decent. The backrest is very nicely positioned, so you are at the right incline level. But yeah, it's just very comfortable. The headrest is also very nice. However, I did find that the headrests are a bit on the harder side, which is also applicable to the front headrest. Normally headrests these days are getting softer and softer. To find such a hard headrest was just a bit different. It's not bad. I mean, you can still rest your head and it's comfortable, but I'm just used to a bit more plushness around here, especially for this price point. Speaking of price point, you do not also have AC vents or heated seats in the back, which is not acceptable because other brands at this price are offering way more stuff at the back. So you do only have a Type C and a Type A USB port, but that's about it. The central hump isn't too bad, so the third passenger is also welcome in the middle, and if it's not there, you can actually open this for cup holders as well. But yeah, it's again basic but function over form, which is what been the mantra of every Subaru. Also, it's a bit too dark inside, especially with the tinted privacy glass windows and no panoramic glass and the all black interior. It can get a bit on the darker side, so you have to factor that in for your rear passengers. Behind the wheel of the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. So let's get the numbers out of the way. This has a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated boxer engine, produces about 182 horsepower, has only the CVT as an option, and has the famed Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which is supremely capable. So let's see how this lifted hatch drives. Slot into drive and we set off. And I'm actually driving in the forest right now, so pardon the movements here and there, but I felt like enjoying this vehicle in such a backdrop is what is the need of the hour. And I can honestly say that this vehicle is just perfect. I've been driving it on tarmac. On highways it cruises so beautifully at highway cruising speeds. It just glides over bumps. One of the rides is perhaps the best in its segment by a country mile. Even on this surface, honestly, I'm on a very broken patch of surface. This is literally dirt, and the Crosstrek Wilderness is taking everything in its stride. It's so comfortable, so easy. I mean I'm driving slow, but I can speed up if I want to and still take these bumps so comfortably, like, oh, a big dip, but I have nothing to worry because I know that the bumper has been modified for a better approach and departure, so it's not going to scrape anything, and I'm just gliding over this. It's just, honestly, it's like a rally car for the road. It's so tuned beautifully. The suspension is perhaps the key selling USP of this vehicle. That's all I can say. It's just spot on. The steering is very accurate, very good. It has enough feedback. Could have been a bit more weighty. It's a bit too light, but it just is so easy to dart into corners, to manage. And this is a small car, right? It has a small footprint. So It's not too bulbous to manage in tight situations. It just is so easy. The brakes is good. The all-wheel drive system, you know, it works. There is a snow dirt mode, there is a mud mode as well. If you want to take it to a bit more slush, it manages the traction control itself a bit more easily. But yeah, it's so good. And what can I say, Subaru has just nailed the absolute driving dynamics of this vehicle so perfectly. It's just spot on. Very few cars can handle the road and the rough stuff so beautifully at such a low price point. I can see why this car is so popular in the adventure, trekking, outdoor circles. In conclusion then, the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Honestly, I've had so much fun driving it on concrete roads, highways, city traffic, everything. It's such a boon because of its compact footprint. The engine is punchy enough and the handling is sublime. The ride quality just tops it off. It's so good. The fuel economy isn't the best in its segment, but that's not a deal breaker because it's not too far off compared to other cars in its segment. But for a car that handles so well and is so abuse friendly, it's a small price to pay. Speaking of price, the top end this Wilderness Crosstrek is about $40,000 Canadian all in, which is honestly a great price because this can really be your one car solution to everything. It's fun to drive, it looks pretty good, and it can go off-road. What else do you need? Honestly, I've had such a blast. I did not expect to like this Crosstrek so much. In fact, what I'm going to do is probably just head inside and explore more of the wilderness.